Good morning, everybody. I hope you're well and you had a really good half-term break. I'm here today to explain the theme for this fortnight. I'm going to be thinking about something called fair trade, and I'm pretty sure the older children in the school will have heard of fair trade. Perhaps some of you who are younger may not have heard of it before, but by the end of the week, I'm sure we'll all be fair trade experts, because that's going to be the theme for a lot of our learning. So the theme for Fair Trade Fortnight this year is called You Can Choose the World You Want. And we're going to be thinking about the choices we make and the impact of those choices on other people so we can make the world the best place possible. So let's think about what we mean by choices. What is a choice? Well, having a choice means the right or the possibility of choosing between different things. So in your choices, you get to weigh up the good things or the bad things about the different options. What choices have you made today already? Maybe you chose what to have for breakfast. Did you choose between toast or cereal, perhaps, or fruit or pancakes? Perhaps you chose whether to come to school on your bike or your scooter. Perhaps you chose the clothes that you're wearing today. All those choices will be things that you have a say in, but they don't necessarily have an impact on other people. Not a big impact, but there are some choices that we can make in life that can have a significant impact on other people. And many of our choices will have an effect on other people, and sometimes they'll have a big impact. And when we're thinking about fair trade, we're thinking about the choices we make and the impact that they can have on other people. So let's have a look at these items. We've got some bananas, we've got some coffee, and we've got some chocolate. Do you have any idea where these things come from? Well, they don't grow very well in the United Kingdom. It's possible. I have seen a banana plant in a special garden, but to grow well, these items all need to grow somewhere where without the cold winters and more sunshine all year round. They mostly grow in tropical regions. So let's have a look at the map. Here's a world map. And we can see the tropical regions are what's between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. In between those lines, there's something called the tropics. And we're here. The red arrow shows where the United Kingdom is. So we're not anywhere in the tropical regions. But you can see there's some arrows pointing to places in the tropical regions. There's a pink arrow going to somewhere called Panama. And that's where not all bananas grow. Bananas grow in lots of places. They grow in the Caribbean, but I'm going to introduce you to a banana farmer who comes from Panama. You can see there that in Africa, we've got the chocolate in the Ivory Coast. We've got coffee growing in Kenya. Now, there is chocolate or cocoa. Remember, chocolate doesn't grow. It's cocoa that grows. Cocoa and coffee don't just grow in those places, but I'm going to introduce you to some of the farmers that come from those places. But most of the items here that we're talking about grow in those tropical, those hotter regions near the equator. So let's just have a look at the bananas. Bananas grow in tropical countries, and many bananas we buy come from Central America. So that was Panama that I pointed out, and the Caribbean. And here we've got banana plants growing. So here, I said I'll introduce you to some farmers. Here's Marcial, and he's a banana farmer who lives in Panama. And he grows his bananas with the help of his family on a small plot of land. He relies on the money he makes selling his bananas to support his family. Sometimes this can be very difficult, particularly if he doesn't get enough money from the bananas he sells. Now, moving to Kenya in Africa. This is Bernard. And Bernard's a coffee farmer. Now, it's quite difficult growing coffee because it needs good warm temperatures to grow, and then it needs good rainfall to flower and to grow what's called the coffee cherries. They're not like the cherry, the fruit, but they're kind of like a small cherry-sized item that grows, that makes the coffee. And if the rain comes at the wrong time, the coffee plants can become too dry and die. So the farmers who grow coffee, they depend on making a good income and getting a fair amount of money. They also rely on the weather being right. And of course, that's something that you can't control or you can't choose. Not only is Bernard here a coffee farmer, but he helps train the other farmers to find ways to protect their crops and to help them to grow, even if the weather isn't quite as they hope it to be. This is Therese. Now, Therese works in a cocoa farm. Cocoa only grows in tropical forests where it's very warm and humid. So when we think about humid, we often talk about the sort of sticky, hot weather. And there's some protection from other types of trees. These cocoa farms are often very remote. Remote means they're very sort of away from all the hustle and bustle of cities and towns. And farmers can struggle to earn enough money to meet their needs. Now, Therese lives in a village without a road, and you can only get to this cocoa farm by foot, so by walking, on motorbike, or on a four-wheel drive vehicle that actually goes through the fields. So no roads to get to that farm. So it must be quite difficult for the cocoa farmers to get the cocoa to where it needs to be to get enough money to support their families. So we buy products grown by farmers like Marcel, Bernard and Therese every day. I'm pretty sure that in your households, even if you're not a banana fan, you've probably got some other fruit in your household. You will undoubtedly have had, if not at the moment, some coffee and chocolate in your homes. There's the sort of items that we buy regularly. And what we choose to buy can make a big difference. So these three farmers that we've just met are all what's called fair trade farmers. This means that if we choose their products, we choose the things that they sell with the fair trade mark, they will receive a better deal for their products. So the little symbol that says fair trade is a clue that those farmers are getting a better deal. They're getting better amounts of money and they're getting paid more fairly for the work they're doing. So this week we're going to be thinking about in a bit more detail about fair trade, and you'll have different activities set for you on Google Classroom or on Tapestry linked to fair trade. So you can just have a look at those different ideas, and there's going to be some things that you could make, some recipes that you could follow using fair trade ingredients. There's some fair trade games, there's fair trade lessons, there's some map work, there's all sorts of things that you can be doing. There's also a video that I'd like you to watch, so perhaps straight after you finish watching my little video clip, there's another short film that you can watch, and it gives you some ideas about how you can change the world through your choices, because it's up to all of us every day to make good choices, and that can help us to create the world that we want. So enjoy your fair trade activities. Remember, if you're learning at home, do remember to send in photographs of your work or submit your work on Google Classroom so we can see what you're up to, and be interested to know your thoughts around how we can impact the world and help create the world that we want. Okay, bye-bye for now. See you next time.